If you guys need any cards, packs, sleeves, anything of that nature, shop on TCG Player using my affiliate link in the description. What is good, YouTube? A lot of you are probably already aware we had quite a run yesterday in RBET Rulers, the invite-only sort of Edison World Championship event. We ended up making it into the top 8 playing Chaos Fairies. This is the deck I've been planning on bringing for a while. It is, of course, the one that originally got me my invite way back in January, so I actually decided, you know what, let's just run it back, literally, like, run it back, because the list, you might have noticed by now, is the exact same list that I played in DDV 3. Now, I think the extra deck is a little different, actually. The extra deck is like 2 cards different or something. It wasn't super important. It was like the version I played was suboptimal. But the main and the side, exactly the same, card for card, no changes. I tested a lot of things, and I just couldn't really get anything that I liked better than the sort of main deck. After playing Rulers, I have some potential changes I might end up making, but we're not really going to be talking about those too much in this video today. So real quick, obviously I've gone over this list a lot, and it hasn't changed, but we're going to kind of discuss it a little bit before we get into going over the gameplay. So first up, I mean, it's Chaos Fairies. We got to have those Chaos monsters. So Sork at home. Enrise was interesting. It didn't really come up too much. Like, I think I only drew like twice, and I only summoned it like one of those 2 times. The other game is like I could have summoned it maybe at some point, but the game didn't end up going that long. Between these and Caius, they're just like really insane because you can just keep banishing your opponent's monsters. It's really nuts versus Blackwings. So yeah, I mean, definitely like having it. It's also a light fairy version of Sork, which is really cool. Then of course, I mean, we're on all the good fairy stuff, right? We're on Double Christia, we're on the Double Honest, we're on the Recruiters, we're on the Herald of Orange, we're on Dimalk. This is like the best Dimalk deck in the whole format. I mean, the whole thing's kind of built around Dimalk, honestly, with like we got the Fader Kai's Dimalk kind of trinity here. I don't know how you describe this, but it's like this weird chaos chaos like package that was played in a lot of decks, and then it goes with like the fairy stuff as well. Very neat. Gore's Trag, obviously very good. They give us darks, they give us fiends for Enrise, so gotta play those. Same deal with Battle Fader, although this only really goes to the graveyard if you mill it. I guess you could technically set it to the field if you wanted to. I think I've done that before. I don't think it happened at Rulers, but if you're desperate, you know what I'm saying. Fader, of course, and the Gore's Trag help enable the Caius a lot, which is your other big Dark Fiend, just like one of the best Dark Fiends in the whole format, so just an amazing problem solver. Caius is one of the best things about this deck, is it just like gives you answers to things that regular fairies can't really handle. It's just like if your opponent sets a hamster, you know, super annoying to deal with, but in this deck you can just Caius it, so no big deal. Sangan, same deal, another Dark Fiend, very good card. Of course, in this deck we play like a bajillion hand traps, so you can like search the Fader, or you could search the Orange Light, so there's like multiple pretty good options to search with Sangan. Plus you could just get some starter if you wanted. You can get into Cyber Valley if you have the Minecon. I think the Minecon Cyber Valley has been testing really well. I don't remember, I think it was decent at Rulers. I don't remember if it was like too crazy. We played against a lot of matchups where it was like kind of but I think Minecon Cyber Valley in general is very, very good, and it should definitely be in there. I would not change it. We only got 1 Warrior Lady because that's all we got room for. We also have the Raikou because of the Minecon package. It's just a random one-off. 1 Sidra. This card just kind of like works at 1. I don't know how to explain it. It's, you know, another light for Honest. It's a way to enable Caius. It can like just get banished by a Bottomless or whatever. It gives you a way to play into stuff. It's kind of just better than Soul, you know. We don't have to play Soul of Purity because we have Enrise, so this like just gives you another way to be aggressive, I guess. And you can randomly Fortress people. I don't know. Somehow things just worked out where 1 Sidra was really good. Same deal, 1 Book of Moon. It's like one of the best. It's a defensive card that works under Decree. It's already one of the better defensive cards to play in Fairies because it protects you from Brain Control and Deep Prison and stuff like that. And it's just like a decent generic defense option. Like I said, that works under Decree, and this whole thing is sort of built around being a Decree deck. Decree is really nuts. Decree will just like solo entire games against especially stuff like Blackwings or Hero Beat or anything trap heavy. Like, you will just win because of Decree a lot of the times. That card is crazy. Sometimes in Ribbit Rulers, this definitely happened, by the way. I played against like multiple decks that were just on no traps, and the Decree sucked. So, we'll be thinking about that in the future. It is rough if you run into like frogs and you draw like Decree plus MST, you just have 2 cards that don't do anything. That being said, I think the Decree is really insane, and your monster package is really insane. So you could play into a Decree a lot better than other decks can. Other stuff we got is just like staples. We got a Lore, Brain, RFDD, Torrential, Trap Dust Shoot. The 3 non-Decree traps of the ones that just like win you the game on the spot, obviously. Side deck, we got that triple Electric Virus. Just hoping to take to not lose to dragons so bad post board. Pre-board will be difficult. Post-board, you could maybe cope with Electric Virus because it just gives you like 4 Brain Caius plays potentially, and you could take Dragon and just let it die as well, so very good. Double Crow, I think Crow's pretty good. It just gives you another hand trap too, which is really crazy. I generally like just play 2 Crow and stuff. I don't want to lose to BS, and I think Crow's a great way to insulate against that. We got the 3rd Christia for stuff like frogs, where you might like switch this out for Enrise or something, just to max out on the chance of seeing Christia. 1 Consecrated Light, you can get it off all the recruiters. It's like not super needed because the Blackwing matchup is insane, but it's just something you should probably have. The 2nd Sidra, My Body, another way to help deal with stuff like deck dev. Very good to bring in against Blackwings and Hero Beat as well. Some more Book of Moons, in case you're scared of stuff like Vanity's Fiend, or you just want like more disruption, I guess. And then we got the traps that come in when Decree gets sided out. So just like Solemn Mirror, Call the Haunted, the good ones. And then the Mind Crush, which has sided pretty much everything. And like I said, the extra deck's pretty standard. It's not super important mostly. You're just going to be making Brionic anyway. So yeah, that's the Chaos Fairy list. Hasn't changed at all. Let's go look at the games. So first round, I played against Pizza. Pizza, really cool guy. Got to meet him IRL. Did a deck profile of him on the channel. I think he's playing the same deck, which is the 45 card Vayu Norlurus build. So definitely a very scary thing to play against in round 1. And we open a hand that just straight up sucks too, because like I said, we're up against a deck that's on no traps. We just opened Decree MST. Literally the exact situation I was describing. We've also got like a Dead Return and a Sork that's not live, so definitely happy to see this Allure, but then we draw Heavy Storm. It's like, all right, we have 3 pieces of spell trap removal, and the opponent is on a deck that has no traps. So it's like we have actually like half of a hand basically. I decided to summon Dimmalk and just banish. Unfortunately, we missed. Oh, it's so bad. So the return is still just dead. I was hoping to get the return live. We're gonna need to really hope and pray in this game because things are not going well. I decide to set. Do I set the Decree? No, wait, we set Typhoon. I don't know why. I feel like at this point I just decided to start setting my spell trap removal in hopes that Pizza would like commit cards to get rid of it, because like that's the only way of getting any value out of any of this spell trap removal that I've drawn. So Pizza decides to just summon Lila, kill the back row here. Makes sense. I think he just passes, gets some mills. That's cool with us. I think for a while here, and I decide it's probably best to just take our +1 and run over this Lila and hope that we don't get owned. So we do that, and then we set Decree. Obviously, I kind of want to keep setting stuff either to bait out removal or to force him to play around things, because we got to get some value, like I said, out of all these crappy spell trap removal stuff that we've drawn in this matchup against a deck that plays 0 traps, just none. Like, not even Treacherous, not anything. There's no way anything is ever getting set to the field. So we got to do something with this Royal Decree. Pizza decides to summon the Trooper. Fortunately, I think he actually doesn't commit into making like a Catastor here. At least I don't think. I think always gotta like respect the possibility of Torrential because he knows I play that. So I was like trying to bluff that I had that. A lot of that occurred today actually, especially with the hand traps. Like Honest and Herald, it's really good to always just pretend like you have Honest and Herald whether you do or not. I mean, especially if you don't, it's good to bluff them, right? You actually don't want to bluff them when you do have them. Whole like Art of War thing there, but it's something that you'll see will come up. So anyway, they just make Armor Master, which is kind of fine. Like, this is only scary if they made Catastor and then started like messing me up. So fortunately for me, that's not what happens, and we get to go into a DD Warrior Lady. So we draw into Cyber Dragon, not the best top deck, but it can clear this Trooper at least. Again, we're still playing super passive here because like we don't have anything, you know. We got a Dead Return, we've got a Decree and a Storm that don't do anything. We've got a Herald, but no second fairy, so that also doesn't do anything. So we're just trying to hope that we can sort of scare him into not full committing with all of his stuff here, which I think he could have summoned a Dark Creator here, right? Does he end up doing that? I don't remember. No, he stacks the Creator. That is weird. Why would he do that? Creator is just live, right? Could have just, like, dropped it. Instead, he opts to stack it and then Foolish the Vayu. Okay, so the card destruction here ends up being big for me, because this Herald and this Heavy Storm, like I said, they're not doing anything. They're just, they're non-cards, but then we draw into actual cards. We draw into Gore's Fader, so it's like, damn, these two actually, these might be good. These might help me win the game, unlike the Herald and the Heavy Storm. So he goes for Phantom. Fortunately for me, he copies the Creator and decides to just get aggressive. I understand why you wouldn't Norlerus at this point when the game state's already super simplified. So I decide to be greedy with the Gores. Just hope he plays into it, which, lucky me, he does. And this whole time, I've just been like, oh my god, please top deck Christia, please top deck Christia. And then it happens. Oh my god. So we were just exactly at 4 fairies, and we top deck into Christia. So now, we got the Gores token, we're about to run over the opponent's entire field, and we have Christia. Honestly, I do not know. I do not, even in hindsight watching this game, I don't understand how we won. I felt like I was drawing so bad the whole time. It felt like the hand I opened was just like garbage in this specific matchup. And it felt like we should have lost, honestly. We just like worked a miracle. Maybe got a little bit lucky in some respects somehow. Well, no. Nothing about that game was lucky, actually. Well, the top deck Christia was insane. But everything else was super unlucko. But we just like managed to pull it out against all the odds. I don't know. That's probably like the craziest game I think I've ever won in a tournament. I just not deserved at all. I don't understand how it happened, but we took it off him. We took it off him. So here we do the same play, just like banish for Dimmalk. I don't know why I summoned. I guess I decided the Angel was better to keep. Oh, wait. I know why I did it. Because if we banish a monster, we can set call and then have it like chainable to bring back the Dimmalk. So then we could chain it, bring back the Dimmalk, add the Battle Fader to our hand, go +1 there if he commits some form of removal to it. So he just goes for the Solar Recharge play and then passes. We summon Shining Angel, and he uses Gores. At this point, I have a choice to make, right? I can be chill, or I can be greedy, and I choose to be greedy. I'm like, all right, it's time to Bryo Christia. So that's what we do. We orange light the Gores, even though there's no real need to orange light the Gores. We go in for Christia, we drop Brionic, we add back Dimmalk, and then we set this. And now, yeah, he basically just has to have an out, or it's game over right now. And we book the Phantom to stop the Chaos Sork, banishing our Christia. And now we can just use the Brio, bounce his monster. I clear my call because, you know, top deck Gores, I guess, is still possible. But I think this game is completely over, right? This is 6,900 damage with the Dimmalk, so no Battle Fader, no Gores, no anything. Gonna be my game. So we take game 2 pretty convincingly there. I don't know what the hell, how we worked that miracle in game 1, but it happened. We managed to win it. So match number 2 up against a true hero. Now, I gotta say, we played against Blackwings 3 times in this tournament. 3 of my, like, I don't know, 7 or so matches. So, like, 40% of my games or something were against Blackwings. Extremely, that was definitely lucky, right? Because the whole point of playing this deck is I want something that just, like, slaughters Blackwings. And it definitely does, and you're about to find out just exactly how and why that is the case. So we got the Honest backing us up. I figure it's safe to just go for the Dimmalk. Of course, with 29 monsters in your deck, you hardly ever miss off Dimmalk. You got, like, a over 70% shot at hitting. So we hit in. He flips Deep Prison. Of course, the Decree is just going to be chained, gives us a nice little +1 there, and now 3 trap cards in a True Hero's hand. Very surprising to see a True Hero not playing Diva Hero, actually, by the way. I should have probably noted that, but yeah, usually this dude plays Diva Hero, at least I thought. Maybe, I've seen him play Blackwings before on his channel, which, by the way, if you haven't, check out True Hero on YouTube, subscribe to him, all that. Very cool guy, very good content, so yeah. But he's playing Blackwings here. At this point, he hits in. I decided to just go for Honest. I think we should just be getting aggressive, see about closing out this game. I don't flip DD Warrior Lady because I don't want to get owned by Brain Control specifically. It would just like it would 2-for-1 me if I flipped this DD Warrior Lady and he had it. He just goes for Brionac, pitches all 3 of his trap cards, and I'm like, oh man, this poor boy drew 3 traps under Decree. So we could out the Brio at this point. I opt not to because we have the Orange Light, so we can just Orange Light the Brio. I think maybe here we should have set the Raikou instead, though. The reason is, if he discards a Dark Monster for Brionic, and then I Orange Light, and his last card is Dark Armed, then we might have some problems. So I think maybe a slight misplay here. I made a lot of slight misplays. I didn't make any like gigantic misplays that I can remember in this tournament. So, but there was a lot of like little mistakes, which is it's fairies. It's super hard to play optimally at all times. This ends up being fine though. We just get rid of the Brionac and then banish the Shura that he attacks into. He draws, Sirocco hit in, I think we hit the monster, and then we draw, set the Honest. That's our 4th fairy, by the way, which means we can Caius tribute over. One really cool thing is, like, Caius lets you set up awkward Christias when you're on 3 fairies and stuff, and you can just, like, tribute a 4th one. It's kind of a problem in regular fairies that comes up in niche moments that this deck sort of just solves with the Caius. Caius is just so great. You love having it. So here, I mean, we just win, right? We got the Kree Christie on the field. What the hell is Blackwings doing with 1 card? You know, nothing. That's the answer. So game number 2. We open up disturbingly high monster count in my hand post board. Got to be thinking about deck dev, of course. Set everything since no monster on the board. Don't have to worry about Icarus. The opponent just starts spamming the field with Blackwings. I decide to just take this damage. I think it's probably fine. We have like Decree, Mind Control, Herald, Christia, so we can just like go for Brio Christia. With Decree on the board, of course, we can deal with spell traps even though there's a Stardust out. We don't need to worry about it. We just go for Decree, Prio, you know, put back the Stardust, drop the Christia, add back the Honest, and now it's Brain Control or GG, right? Just like that, it's Brain Control or GG. So the opponent's got a Blizzard, a Dust Shoot, and a Dark Arm, so some trap cards and some special summon cards staring down the Decree Christia once again. And yeah, that's not going to be enough, so we take down a True Hero. At this point, we feel like we're killing it, right? We're 2-0 in both our matches. We go up against James. This should, on paper, probably be a good matchup for us. James, of course, playing the Fish deck that he's been playing a lot lately. So Fish OTK. You've probably seen it, you know, you use the Frog engine with Coelacanth, and you try to do crazy wombo combos. So here, I think for a while, I finally decided to just summon Nova Summoner. I think this game, misplays probably did cost me, actually, if I'm remembering correctly. There were some unlucky things that happened to me in this match, but I think in this game, this game probably should have been winnable. The main issue was with how we used this Tragodia, if I recall. I mean, yeah, Decree's not a good draw, obviously. Decree's not a good draw, but I think the main issue was that we chose to drop Trag here. Yeah, so there's probably no reason to do that. I was, like, fixated on outing Duplock earlier than I really needed to. Like, we could have just waited around and stalled behind our floaters and, like, just waited to draw Caius or something and then gone for Brain Kai. I don't know exactly what the optimal way to deal with this would be, but we did not need to out Duplock, like, straight away. All that ends up happening is that the Tragodia trades with a freaking T-Roar anyway, and then we get, like, Colossal Arm OTK'd because James happens to have this Econ in his hand that he can use to switch the Tragodia into attack mode, whereas, you know, if we hadn't put the Trag on the field, we wouldn't have died anyway. I mean, even if this wasn't the case, the Tragodia was just going to get cleared by the Gores for free, so it was, like, bad no matter what, right? But yeah, we just die here to Colossal Arm OTK. So I think probably dropping that Trag just kind of lost me the game for no reason. I think it was bad even with what we knew like was on the field, and if we knew what was in his hand, it was definitely awful. So game number 2. Okay, this game was not my fault. We just drew like abysmally this game, if I remember. We play like, if we look at the list here, we play like freaking what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 11-ish, is that right? 11-ish decent turn 1, oh, wrong game. 11 decent, like, just normal summon dudes that get us started. And just, like, we didn't draw any, ever. I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but, yeah. I maybe should have just orange lighted this. In my mind, I'm just like, well, we hold orange light for Coelacanth no matter what, but that's probably... I definitely probably should have orange lighted at this point. I guess I was worried. I wanted to use this Minecon Valley, though. I was, like, fixated on, I need to use this Minecon Valley so we can just, like, draw into a monster. You know, because I have no monsters. I would even be satisfied drawing into a Gore's Trag or a Fader. So there's, like, 15 cards that I just need to find. And we still don't find any. So we're just kind of, like, chilling in this awkward situation. The opponent's going to summon out their third dupe, which this deck does play 3 of. They're just doing frog plays. They Moray, put back, draw a bunch. So, yeah, 2 swaps back, draw 3. They find Heavy Storm, which is really bad, obviously. I mean, maybe they should have just used it, because, like, Torrential was pretty good for me. Yeah, he gets to add some swaps or whatever, but it's, like, whatever. Gets a Regeki Break. Actually chains it to out my Dimmalk, because we finally found a monster we could summon, and it's just gone. So I didn't realize he was even on that card, actually. I forget if James mains that or not. I think that might be a side deck card. I get hit with another crazy side deck tech choice in this game that we are going to see later. So summons a swap, attack. I think we book it and just, like, out it with a monster. We draw another normal summon. Nice. Like, we're running out of non-normal summons. So he could just... Actually, just not going in with the Coelacanth here. Does he know about the Heralds? I don't think so. So he's going to use swap to bounce his other dude. We don't have a normal summon, so we bounce our Honest back. Call's decent. And in fact, we would have won the game if he hadn't owied us on this turn, because we draw into Christia, so we would have just Bryo Christia'd and, like... actually, he has BrainCon creature swap, so maybe he could have done something. I don't know exactly. Obviously, Bryo Christia would have been very good for us from where we were, though. But BrainCon into Tribute Summon Coelacanth is just lethal here. We never drew Gores or Trag or Fader. And we didn't see enough starters early on in this game, so... this was kind of the game where we just lost to bricking, sort of, so yeah. Definitely tilted after that one. On to the next match, and this match I don't think I played well at all. And if this was probably the match that I played, at least game 1, I think we played worse than we've really been playing before, so... We draw, like, an okay hand, and then we just get our Angel Kai's. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell kind of hero beat deck is this? So, obviously, we shouldn't have Fadered here. This was just, like, me being throwy and pressing buttons because I was a little bit tilted. So, yeah, definitely. Also, I shouldn't have declared Dimmalk here, but the opponent just doesn't chain Hero Blast, so, like, we definitely should have lost this game 1. Let's be clear. We were just playing like an absolute idiot for no reason at all. So the opponent Hero Blast now, and they just summon, hit over. I think, yeah, we bluff having Honest, of course, but we don't. We add back Angel because we need an actual card that does something since we have, like, just 3 boss monsters in our hand. So here we banish the Alias. The Future Fusion gets used. We got to worry about Ab-Zero coming. Judgment is kind of spooky. So the Ab-Zero just comes down because we draw into, like, a Christia, a second Christia, and a Caius. So we're kind of just chilling behind this Angel. He hits over it. We get another floater. So how many fairies are we on at this point? We're on 4, which means the Christia should just come down. He actually lets that go. Oh, no, he doesn't Judgment. He bottomlesses it, which means we can just go for another Christia. So, oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, we had to get back to 4 fairies, though. So we go for the Caius. That gets Judgmented. Now we go for the other Christia. We add back. We hit over the Stratos, and we're actually feeling pretty good. I decide to Honest, because we will automatically lose if he has Brain Control, and he does have Brain Control, of course. So, pretty heads up. That was probably the smartest thing I did all game. Definitely the smartest thing I did all game. I played this game like an idiot, honestly. Well, we got our shit together towards the end, but obviously you saw towards the beginning we were just playing like a complete moron. So, second Miracle Fusion, and we don't have any kind of Fader Gore's defensive card here, so we're getting kind of scared, getting pretty low. Of course, we can just re-summon that Christia, which is nice. Definitely nice. We go summon the Herald. So he Mirror Forces and Compulses to make sure that I can't add back Battle Fader. Just trying to kill me. Obviously, that's not going to work because we have this N-Rise. So important that we summon this instead of Sork, actually, because we need to have like that Honest to keep us alive. He tries to storm his own Ab-Zero to kill the Enrise. We Orange Light, and now he's got 2 dead cards in hand with the Brain and the Gorse. Obviously, neither one of these doing anything because the opponent's at 300 life, so it's just an Ab-Zero and my Sky Scourge Enrise. He sets the Brain. I think for a while, I decide the best play is probably just to pop this. And, well, I actually couldn't figure out what the best play was, because it's like, if we summon Honest and pop, and banish the Ab-Zero, which should have been banished, by the way, and then drop Christia, it's like, I guess that plays into Bottomless Torrential for just no reason at all. Whereas if we like hit in and then try to Honest over and it's a Battle Trap, that's really bad because then we haven't even gotten rid of the Ab-Zero. And we just have to like set Honest and hope he doesn't draw a monster. So that's probably the worst play to do. If we banish it and then summon Honest, getting deprisoned at that point is also really bad because we just die to any monster. So if we banish and then this is just like a Hero Blast or a Mirror or a Torrential, that means that we are on 4 fairies then after we summon the Honest and he has to kill it. And then we just drop the Christie and his back row's gone. So I think I calculated that this was probably the best way to do it. And that's probably right. But it ends up just being a set bluff brain control, of course. So we swing in for game. It actually didn't matter. Obviously, you kind of have to do that in a way that lets you go for game. No way we're not. So here, he just has a bad hand. Like, I swear people really talk a lot about the consistency of decks in Edison. And they have absolutely no clue what they're talking about because, like, people just, like, look at decks and they think that they're more consistent or less consistent based on these really superficial evaluations. And it's just, like, actually every deck is just bricky in Edison format. People like to call this Chaos Fairy deck, like, a brick fest, but actually, I really only bricked, like, 1 game in this whole event. You know, we play a ton of starters. We play on a bunch of cards that just always work well together. I don't think we really bricked that much. Like, I really don't think I bricked that much with this deck compared to what my Blackwing opponent players bricked. So, I don't know. I think people are really bad at these, like, surface level evaluations of consistency. Because, like, look at what my opponent's drawing in this supposedly ultra consistent Hero Beat deck. They just have nothing. They just have nothing because they drew an awkward combination of spell traps. I played into Brain Caius, I guess. I don't know. I'm just like can't get it through my head that he's playing random Caiuses in this Hero Beat deck, but he is. Of course, Tragodia is going to go hard here, right? Tragodia is going to go hard. It's going to take the Caius with my Caius. We still have Brain Control to go with the Cyber Valley potentially. We also have a live Sky Scourge Enrise in our hand that we can drop at any point. So we're just hitting in. He doesn't have an alias. Now he has an alias. He just goes set with Spark. I decided not to use any of their effects because I don't want to give him a chance to chain. He could have chained Hero Blast here to make this one miss timing. It doesn't really matter because we're just getting redundant normal summons back off of them. Maybe I should have banished, actually. Like, I should have banished just to get, like, a better card removed from play than just more normal summons. So here, I'm looking at his graveyard. I'm thinking there's pretty much no way we die to, like, anything. Like, Miracle Fusion normal summon would be bad, but we have Brain Control Enrise to clap back. And we will still be in Brain Control range. So I'm thinking we're probably just chill to wait here. And then I think we just activate the Brain Control and he concedes, so we don't even get to bring out the Enrise. The plan, of course, was to Caius this, and then even if this is something we have follow-up, Sky Scourge Enrise, so that was the idea, but not going to be needed. He just scoops to the Brain Con. He's got all 3 aliases in his hand, and a Sangan. This is like some weird... Is this like a Diva Hero Beat combination or something? I'm not really sure. It's like I didn't see Malicious, so it's not on that unholy technology maybe. Or maybe it is and I just didn't see it. Although I think not, because he was like running out of Stratos targets there. And it ended up having to be 3 alias, so that's probably not what was going on. I don't know. I'd have to see the deck list, but yeah. Next match we're up against Blackwings again, so oh goody. This is why we brought the deck, so we just set Angel Pass. Okay. We could have set Return. I think probably fine to just hold Return. He just sets Icarus Pass. Of course, we know at this point from scouting that this dude is on Blackwings. Oh, that's why we didn't set Return. We're just like, this is one of those decks that can just eternally play around Icarus attack. Like, you never have to play into Icarus if you don't want to, because you're so light on back row and so heavy on, like, hand trap defense that you're just like, I will put one card on the field at any given time, and that's it, you know? So at this point, we've seen all his cards because we got that Dust Shoot resolved. We know what they all are. We know there's a Judgment down, and I'm like basically sure that this card is Icarus Attack from how he was playing. So I decided to just make him use Judgment. And then we go poke with Honest. Put him down to 500. No longer have to worry about brain control. So here, he swings in with Kalut. That's fine. We go with the Dim Alk. Of course, not activating the effect because we don't want Icarus to get chained. He draws into Shura. Not going to summon it. Playing around Torrential, obviously. Here we go in. He activates Icarus. We say that's fine. If I had chained Return, we would have won, but we didn't know that. Here, we have 2 fairies, so all I got to do is herald this Spirit Reaper, which interesting to be playing Spirit Reaper in Black Wings. Is this mandatory, by the way? Yeah, I think this is mandatory, so I didn't need to wait for him to like use the effect. I could just herald immediately. Good to know in hindsight. At this point, I think we just drop the Christia, right? Add something back, summon another monster, and that's going to be it. So, pretty easy game number 1, as we kind of expect for the Blackwing matchup. Of course, the whole reason we're playing this deck. Super metagamed against Blackwings. Kind of was expecting a lot of Blackwings. There was a lot of Blackwings, so very much rewarded for that decision. Here we decided to just chill. Opponents got like multiple Soul Release, and they're like completely bricked because of it, so I don't know what's going on with that. I don't think the Soul Release is that great in this matchup. It does get used here. I think Christia was live. Was Christia live? I think it probably was. So, I mean, it stopped me from summoning the Christia, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think Graveyard Disruption against Fairies is just kind of We could have honestly not dropped Fader here. I think we maybe were a little bit impatient with our cards. So we go for the Caius. Then do we hit into Mirror? He didn't need to mirror that. He could just summon Gale and hit over it, but whatever. So he's just chilling. At this point, he summons Gale. So we have a lot of potential answers to this that lose to Icarus Attack. Obviously, we screwed up. We forgot we got Soul Released there. So he hits over the Angel. That's fine. Maybe he should have Soul Released at this point, knowing that I have the Sork, but whatever. Unfortunately, this Gale is going to have my dude, so we can't crash. I go for this. He has the Road. That's pretty not good. I decided to Judgment the Road, actually. So that is quite good. We get rid of all his stuff. But obviously, no matter what we do at this point, we're pretty much screwed because Brain Control is in the opponent's hand. So, yeah, I mean, we might have been in a decent spot if not for that, but we died of Brain Control. So I don't know if I played that exactly right. I think there were maybe some minor misplays in there, but Game 3, our hand is completely bonkers, right? So, unfortunately, we do get Dust Shooted because I decided to End Phase Decree, and I was right to End Phase Decree because, you know, Icarus and Dust Tornado are things. Actually, I don't think bringing in Dust Tornado is particularly wise against Decree because it's just like another trap. You know, yeah, you could chain it to Decree, but if they have the Decree, it's like a 50-50 thing where it might just be a complete brick. So we do get our hand ripped. They take the Honest. That's not great. Or they take the Caius, so that means we can't Caius them, and also it means that our Allure is dead. We draw Card Trooper, though. That's very good. We hit in. It is another Snowman Eater like we were kind of predicting, so that gets us a draw. We draw into a Dark Monster, which is nice. That means we can Allure. Then we go for that Heavy Storm. Book of Moon going to flip down the Snowman, but we have the Mind Control to just take care of that, so we hit in. At this point, we kill the Snowman Eater, and now our Trap Dust Shoot is live, so we're going to go ahead and use that. We see the hand he's working with, and again, like, Soul Release is kind of just a brick. Like, I don't know. If I had a boss monster, I guess I could kind of disrupt my setup for that, but also it's just a brick, so whatever. Icarus Attack's the only thing we really need to worry about. So I think he does not go for the Shura hit. Does he know I have Honest? I don't remember. Well, we Honest him anyway. Obviously, we just eternally play around Icarus Attack, so we draw my body. At this point, I'm trying to think of the best way to get around this. I decide we should just banish it because there is a Vayu in the grave. So we would probably just want this. Sirocco gone. So he goes set the Gale. At this point, we decide to play into the Icarus because we got that my body as a shield, and we got consecrated on the field. So it's like hard to see how he lose this. He can't drop that. He can't summon Blizzard. He can't really do anything until he takes care of this. So he has a set Snowman, which could potentially deal with it. He's going to get rid of my Consecrated, but I actually decided to go for the Brain Cyber Belly, just to like use our normal summon this turn, so we can like be positive tempo. Yeah, Torrential would kind of suck, but we'd still be up like 2 cards or something. And we draw into return, and that card's just going to win us the game next turn. So he flips Soul Release, which makes us win the game even harder with return. Obviously, we're just going to go for Christia, bounces Field. He accidentally flips the Nobleman, but we're just bouncing that anyway, because we have return from the different dimension, and that's going to let us summon about 5,000 billion things from our banish pile and attack for a bunch of damage, so we end up taking the W over Duck Tracy there. Next match, as luck would have it, Blackwings again. What can I say? They just keep teeing me up, and I keep knocking them down. So we open a really good hand. We go summon Dimmock. We have that Honest Protection. We confident we can just go for it. Of course, we do hit a Herald because, like I said, you always hit. You never miss. Opponent's got a decent hand. I swear, someone needs to look at the stats. I swear people drew Brain Control an absolutely insane amount of times versus me. Which I guess the trade-off is we didn't get Dust Shooted as much, maybe. But we got Brain Controlled so many goddamn times yesterday. I swear it was disproportionate. You gotta believe me. Anyway, here we just Honest, right? Like, yeah, obvious. We Honest to that. Adding back Herald in this matchup is, like, only okay anyway. So, we would definitely rather get that Sork, maybe. At this point, we just set stuff. Opponent goes for Brain Control. Probably should have... Oh, no. He tributes for this. Sets, pass. We activate MST and end phase. So now this Icarus is just dead. I make a misplay here. I should have just killed his Sirocco. Because we actually don't have a good answer to it right now, weirdly enough. I was thinking we would probably just draw into one, but I think that was a little bit hopeful for no reason. We clear the Icarus, which again, I was pretty sure this was Icarus, and we can just play around Icarus till the end of time. So I don't know why I decided that we had to pop that Icarus attack. But that's what we do. We go for the Valley draw, and then Dust Shoot, unfortunately, is probably not getting live anytime soon. So at this point, I fade her to avoid taking the damage, and we're in an awkward spot here. We need to do something to not take 10,000 billion damage. So we hit in. I decided to get back Gores just because it's another defensive option. In hindsight, that was completely wrong. I should have added back the Herald, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty much correct. Should have added back the Herald, and then we could have gotten the on. Yeah, I mean, this wouldn't have even been an issue if we had added back Herald. So he's gonna make his dude really big. He uses one Sirocco, tributes it, uses another Sirocco to make it 63. So we end up taking. Well, we should have taken 68, but we only take 67 or something. As you can see, I did math wrong once, and then I do math wrong again. And this ends up being a problem later, because as you can see, on this turn, we should only have 1,000 life points, but we end up ramming the Sangan and going down to 100. So everything that's happening in these next two turns ends up having to get corrected later when I think someone notices and we call a judge, and well, maybe I should just skip to that part. So what ultimately happens is the judge decides that we need to rewind the game state to the point where Sangan was summoned, because we played out a whole couple turns where I rammed in and added a Herald, and then he did his turn, then I did my turn, and Honest traded for Clute and stuff. So we had to go back and undo it. I don't know why it was at this point. Cam says it's because that was the last legal play, but wasn't the last legal play me attacking with Sangan and dying? I feel like that was actually technically the last legal play. Or I would have had to book my own Sangan. I don't know how judge rulings work. Maybe this is the last legal play because it's the last one that changed the state of the cards or something. But yeah, I have a Sangan on the field when I probably shouldn't, essentially is what's happens. And then we both have kind of knowledge of what's coming, I guess. So we have to book to stay alive next turn, obviously. We end up just hitting over. I think he has another monster, so we have to book our own Sangan. That's basically the only way we're staying alive here. Otherwise, we're just going to die. So now Sangan gets another Honest, and knowing what the opponent has, I basically know at this point this isn't anything, obviously. So we just hit in with double Honest and win the game. But yeah, kind of unfortunate that the game state had to get weirdly rewinded there. I don't understand why it got rewinded to right when I summoned the Sangan, because like I said, if it just gets rewinded to the last legal thing that happened, you would think it would be just the battle phase of when I attacked into the Sirocco or something. But if we were actually trying to fix it so that we played the way we would have with the life point count the way it was, then maybe it would have just been the beginning of my turn when I was at 1,000. But instead, it's like at the middle of my turn after I summon the Sandgan. Like I said, I don't understand how judge rulings work or whatever, so there's probably something going on here that I don't really grasp. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. It doesn't really change the outcome. I think the opponent was kind of just cooked that game with like the Honest and stuff and the Christia on the board. Just like a rough matchup all around for Blackwings. At this point, he decides to start poking with Kalut. I guess it's kind of all he can do with his hand. I decide to go in, ram this. Of course, Decree, I mean, look at this. Decree's going to go hard here, right? There's 4 trap cards in the opponent's hand. Oh my god, it's so sad. So we get in here with the Angel. The opponent can make Catastor, which is nice for them. This would actually be a decent-looking situation. Except they have 4 trap cards, and I have a Decree. God, this card is so disgusting. So, speaking of disgusting, we Fortress, and then we just mill the exact number of fairies we need to summon Christia, and from this point, the game is over, right? It's just like, it is so Jover. It is so Jover at this point. I bet he draws another trap card for turn. Let's see it. Nope, draws Blizzard, but that doesn't do anything because he's under Christia. So, yeah, final match. Well, spoiler alert. We go up against Hero Beat, which should be a good matchup on paper. The opponent starts just like set road, set dust. We activate Storm, and it actually turns out that he has the road, which is not optimal for us. And then add insult to injury, our Decree gets Dust Tornado, which obviously that card would have gone super hard in this matchup. So he hits over, but we're kind of cool just floating Recruiters. At this point, I think we just go Brio Christia, and we're like, yeah, get owned. So we Brio Christia, hit over all his stuff. He can Honest over either of my monsters if he wants. He opts to Honest over the Brio. I think he should have Honested over the Christia and just activated a Miracle Fusion, maybe. Because what ends up happening is, okay, the Christia gets banished. Let me think. So, I mean, it still gets banished by the D-Prison, but probably safer to just do it that way, you know? He sets Typhoon. We go with the Trooper, Crash. I don't know what the hell he's thinking about here. He's just like bluffing that he has something, but he doesn't. He end-phase Typhoons my Torrential, whatever. That's like kind of fine. I would rather just draw another Decree at this point and get that established. So he's going to go for the Stratos. We have the Dimmalk to trade super positively into that. Obviously, this is very bad for him because it means we're going to add back the Christia and just summon it again. And he has no outs. So he draws into Mirror Force, which is good. I think he decides to, like, not use it this turn, though. Obviously, because it just means Christia is going to be live again next turn. So he's just like, I think he should have used it, honestly. Should have just used it and activated Miracle this turn. Because he just ends up having to use it this turn and, like, takes more damage more quickly than he probably should have. He could have gone for a Diva play here. Does he do that? I don't remember him doing that. Yeah, he just summons Alias. I wasn't even sure if he was on Diva, I think. I don't think I ever saw it. So we just go for Caius, drop Christia, and then... Oh, drop Sidra and Christia. Alright, so yeah. That's super game over, of course, because we have the Honest. Game number 2, we open up a decent hand. We swing into the Warrior Lady, and once again our friggin' Decree gets end-phase sniped, which sucks, because if we ever establish Decree, it's like so bad for them. But whatever, it is what it is. They just go for Stratos and Alias, right? Seems obvious. So then our Sandgan's going to get banished by the DD Warrior Lady. And they hit in for 18, but that's kind of fine. We have a Dimmalk that can trade super positively here. We crash. We add back the Caius. Maybe I should have just gotten the Sandgan to potentially float into a Battle Fader, give us some defense since we are getting a little low. I decided to hold off on the My Body here, which was a little bit greed. I don't know. The opponent draws a Dyna. They go into Alias, whatever. We attack. They spark. At this point, we do My Body, and then we just hit in. And I think, okay, they draw Judgment. We attack. We set the Raikou. They just set MST. We flip Storm. Very nice. And I don't think we had a lethal line here. We could have flipped the Raikou and tried to get to 4 fairies, maybe. Like, it would have had to be some, like, RNG luck thing. I probably would have just targeted himself and tried to mill 2, maybe. I think that's the only way we could just like win here. But then he draws Future Fusion and uses his 3 Miracle Fusions with the Fossil Dyna to just like OTK us. So yeah, a little bit rough there, a little bit rough. On to game number 3 though. Yeah, I don't know. This match was weird. We ended up getting like super. The same thing happens this game. You're gonna see it, where we just get like triple miracled or something again. So our hand isn't great either, but like it's playable. We've got cards that do things. We drop the Trag, and then we like hit into the Alias, just like trades 1-for-1 with a Spark essentially. It's kind of fine. Yeah, he does just draw the 3rd Miracle for turn, I think. I could have lived, or no, he doesn't draw the 3rd Miracle. He just had, the one comes down with Ab-Zero, and then he has 2 Miracle. I could have lived here if I had set the Book of Moon, I guess, is like the thing. But it wouldn't have been great to set the Book of Moon, because then he wouldn't have had to like commit anything to out the Tragodia. Obviously, he has the Road here, so like the Road, double Miracle, Fossil Dyna, like 4-card combo kills us again. I don't know. Felt rough. I wasn't super salty at the time because I only had like an hour left to play this tournament before I had to go do something, so I was probably not going to make it anyway. So I was just like, all right, we made top 8, and then we got eliminated. Kind of convenient. But in hindsight, maybe I should have been salty because this seemed like Gigasack to me, but you know what? That's just how it goes. That's just how it happens. That is the end of our top 8 run. But yeah, I mean, I felt like it went pretty well. I think this is one of the most fun decks to play in the entire format for me. I definitely enjoy it a lot. Like I said, I might be making some edits after this event. It definitely got me thinking about certain things, which I'll maybe talk about later. I think the deck is very solid. It's still probably my preferred way to play fairies. I like the Caius, I like the Fader, I like the Decree. Although I might potentially side the Decree in the future because I played against like 3 decks in this tournament that just weren't on traps. And that was annoying for sure. It's definitely something to think about in the format as things develop. But there's a lot of good stuff going on in here. I was impressed with how the deck performed. I was impressed with how I performed. So congratulations to me on making top 8 of them. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed me going over all these, going over the deck profile. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.